My name is Logan Stevens. I am a sophomore in Purdue's Construction Engineering and Management program, and this presentation is going to go over the past summer of 2023 internship that I just completed. So, to start, I did my internship at DLZ Corporation. We are based out of the Midwest, and we do projects around the world. I've talked to coworkers that went to Puerto Rico, Florida, Tennessee, etc. What it is, for the most part, what I was involved with was the consulting side of the firm. So basically watching and inspecting the other company's work when it came to the construction being done. Like I said, based out of the Midwest, but they're expanding and taking more project bids in Tennessee now on larger waterworks projects like dams, county jails, etc. It is an award-winning architecture, engineering, and construction services firm, despite being relatively small compared to the entire U.S. So what I was involved with as an intern in the construction department is construction observation for a variety of city-level projects. Basically, that just means that I was talking to the workers, the foreman, finding out what was getting done that day, making sure everything was correct according to the plans and to the specs that were previously provided. So like I said, it's most of the work I was doing involved patching, milling, and overlay of certain roads that were deteriorating over time, and talking to former coworkers. These kind of projects are done every 7 to 10 years, depending on depending on how deep the milling was done too. So, of course, if you mill farther, more inches down, then the roads are gonna last longer. So, basically, this was an annual checkup of there were seven roads on the main project I was on, and it was one intersection on the other project I was mostly on. The other thing I did as an intern was just kind of communicate with the workers and the foremen and the supervisors too when it came to it. Just make sure that DLZ and them were on the same page, and that DLZ could correctly monitor the quantities and report those to the contractor for the pay items. Besides the patching, milling, and overlay of the roads, there's additional stuff that kind of happened on the side, which included concrete work and road accessories. And by road accessories, I mean paving and road markings. So like turn arrows, turn lanes, etc. Street signs, those were part of some of the bids too. So basically my job involved all of that in one kind of melting pot and just making sure everything got done. So the three main job sites that I worked on, of course, were the first one was the 2023 Mishawaka Community Crossings. This is the one that had 7 roads, like I said, and so I basically was in charge of commuting to all these different roads, checking with the different crews on site, and some days there could be up to 4 different crews at 4 different locations. So it's a huge learning experience, and just managing time management as well as being smart with how you go about things during the day. The other project that I started working on towards the second half of the summer was the 2021 intersection improvements. This was an additional work added on to a project all the way back from 2021. So what it really was is the idea of this project was to improve various intersections in Mishawaka. And so they had money left over, and they decided to add one more intersection to the bid. And so that intersection is what I was around for to do, obviously, because all the work had been done in previous summers. So I was out there watching that. Very similar to the community crossings, except that it was full depth milling because we had to replace storm sewers in the intersection, and that became a convoluted process. And then the last job site that I worked on, only for a little bit, a couple weeks, is Veterans Parkway Phase 1, which was actually the biggest Mishawaka project they had this year. It was running sanitary, storm, uh, maybe sewer pipes all the way through down to the extension of a road that was previously done next to a water treatment plant, and they were going to make a big roundabout so that they could connect to a future Mishawaka field house. This project was actually really cool because I got to see like a lot of new things being added to the city. As growing up there, it was pretty cool to see all this stuff happen, and then like that, it was just, yeah, they had a lot in plans, and it was really cool to see it all like start to come together, and still see that how much conceptual stuff they still have yet to do on that project. But I was only really there to see the pipes going in. I didn't really get to see the roundabout construction, unfortunately, but yeah. All right, so these are a couple images from the 2023 Community Crossings. I started this around May 10th, and I worked on it all the way through late June, so it was long. I got there in the process of the concrete work being done, so that was the first thing I had to work on. As you can see, I had a lot of pictures from that. If you look right here, you can see that one of the main things I caught was this intersection that was done improperly. So the top left image, you can see they put the ADA tiles in wrong, and I had to come and tell them, hey, that's not the spec. And so then the image right below that, they came and fixed it. But as you can see, I had to work with various concrete crews, milling and paving crews, and yeah, so my partner actually did the milling while I did the paving. So it was a pretty good dual effort, and we got most of the work done quickly, as in measuring quantities. You can see the top of the wheel in that picture. We had to walk up and down the roads to get the distances of the roads and etc. like that. And then next up we have the intersection improvements. As you can see, the milling was done. Then they dug it out. And this is after they replaced the storm pipe and stuff. But then they were doing these new bump outs, which are becoming more frequent in Mishawaka, and they actually, they actually widened the concrete around the sidewalk to make it look prettier, and put in a bunch of red stamped concrete. So that was a pretty cool process to watch. I was only on this project for about 3 weeks, so it was not the most in-depth thing, but it was very good, like sum up of what I've done this summer. And then these are a couple pictures from the limited time I was on Veterans Parkway. As you can see, they'd use the trench box to dig down and get in there to see that stuff. And then on the right is them putting in actual sanitary. Yeah, things I wish I knew before this summer. I wish I had a better knowledge of plans, and specifically how these operations looked on plans. The other thing I wish I knew was like what exactly an inspector and observer does. I had not heard of these positions before this summer, and they kind of throw you into it, and you kind of have to pick it up as you go. And it bit me in the butt not to take better notes and measurements in the time. A real life example of the dynamics of how the crew works and behaves would be great. I had not worked on construction jobs before this year, and I really just thought that I didn't know how to exactly interact with these guys, especially guys that have been doing it for 30 years and don't want to put up with an intern. Like having tips and stuff like that to help an intern start out would be great. One of the big things, like I mentioned before, is the conceptual of Veterans Parkway. Like I said, I only saw a little bit, but it was cool to see how such a large project goes from just pages and pages of plans, and see how that just transforms into this great giant project, such as a roundabout. It's going to lead to the treatment plant and going to lead to the field house and new parking, and how they're going to connect this road to another road. It's many years. It's probably going to take another 3, 4, 5 years to get this all done, but like being there and seeing like the very base of that was amazing, and I really hope that next summer I can see more of that being done. My greatest triumph, it seems kind of small, but like I am pretty proud of it. So it was like this water main, as you can see in the image, was actually going to be right in the place of a ADA tile, and I measured it out, called my boss, told the supervisor. We all had to work it out, and we found out that it is okay to actually cut the ADA tile. We just had to replace the lid of the water main with a non-slip lid, and just make additional careful because there's actually a blind person that did walk through the construction site, so it's pretty important that we saw that and caught it ahead of time. And then a few of the lessons I learned is time, like I said, time management with 7 locations and multiple crews was huge. Work ethic, like working hard, not taking those rain delays for like gimme days, working hard on those. Double checking yourself and measurements, like I said. It's really important to get your notes right. Safety is key. This image is not the best image of safety, but I thought it was pretty funny to see, and just one of those things that you can't always prepare for. And then another one is learn about a job before you go out in the field for it. I kind of lacked in this, and I would just be out there with the plans and have no idea what's going on. So it's really important that if you can get yourself a set of plans and look at it before, that's really helpful for future work you will do in the field. And finally, thank you for listening. Like I said, I'm Logan Stevens. This has been my recap of the summer 2023 internship I had at DLZ. And yeah, thank you.